doing something different today. We are down here at Ragged Edge 4x4. Chris, the owner, has invited me down here and we are driving these things. So we're down here at Avalon Raceway and Chris runs this obstacle course where you can come and drive these things. So he has a website, you can book your turn and you can come down and take these for a spin. There's a purpose-built course out there. I think there's 4 separate courses and there's 2 different buggies. This one's got 49-inch tires and yeah, you can come down and drive this. So this is what we're driving today. These buggies, there's 2 here. They were built by Chris and his crew many years ago, so they've been around for a long time. They're absolutely bulletproof. The driveline they're running is a hybrid Rockwell diff, front and rear, and they run into H260 Nissan Sennas, 4-link front, 3-link rear. We've got hydraulic steering front and rear as well. The rear diff's just mirrored to the front, but the diff center's central for the transfer case. 16-inch coilovers for suspension all the way around. A couple GQ bits on here, the brake booster, and they've got GQ rear calipers all the way around. And this one has a set of 49-inch tires, and the other one here has a set of 44-inch tires.
425 Imco carby, RHS heads, so it's a small port chamber, so it runs about 10.2 compression. Mexican block, 350 Chev, 4x bottom end, and no cork and no oiling mods at all, standard sump.
Well, that's something I was worried about on the big angles, is whether you'd starve the thing of oil, but obviously it worked.
I haven't done anything. Like, everyone asked about that, like dry sump and stuff.
Yeah. When I first got here, I was looking for a dry sump setup, to be honest. But
and then just turbo 400. So it's a standard case, but where you one extra welding on the back of the case to stiffen it up, and Dominator make a custom 3000 high stall converter for us, so extra brazing, because it's on this torque converter all the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's been a bulletproof thing for us. Going into an Atlas 2 5-to-1 transfer case,
yep.
Got the disconnects into that, and that just runs to Nissan Patrol drive shafts. So I can control brake booster, pedals,
yep.
as much as we can, just off the shelf.
Right, in the cabin, it's not much. Stop start, that's the gas switch, steering wheel, but this is where the fun stuff happens. So this is a front disconnect, or rear disconnect I should say. Pulling this lever disconnects drive from the rear, so it's only front wheel drive, and then you select the back and it's 4-wheel drive again. Auto stick, and your rear steer here, which is controlled with an electric motor back here. So if we flick the lever, so here we go, we've got some bits here. This is an axle out of one of the buggies compared to a GU CV. You can see the massive size difference. The axle's probably twice the size. We've got a full spool here, just custom splined to these axles, and a spindle. Massive size difference. I think if we could run this stuff in our patrols, we would not have problems like we do. So that's some massive stuff. Double the size. So these are the gears they run. They've been isotropic treated, which is a treatment that they do that helps them be stronger pretty much. That's what it does. And yeah, some other bits and pieces that they run. It's awesome to see this in person and just see how big this stuff really is. Because like I said, well, I mean, we all run GU stuff, and in the 4-wheel drive world, that's as big as it gets. But then you step up into this and that looks like toothpicks. So that's good to see. All right, so we're just buckling up. We're about to go into the first course. It's a little bit different than 4-wheel driving, so it's nice, slow, and choosing your lines properly and things like that. So I think we get on some pretty wild angles. I have had a quick look, someone else was here just before me, and it looks pretty wild. So we're going to get out there and have a go and see how far we can land this thing over. like, obviously I've never driven like something like that, all like that. So, you know, when you think, oh, it's, you know, I like going fast, but you come in slow, oh, it's going to be good. But then when just picking your lines and working out how to get the car around all the tight stuff, is just like, it's awesome fun, even though you only go and walk pace.
Yeah.
You know, and just cars always on an angle, and then you always, you know, your brain's never not working. It's like, steer this way, steer that way, steer, you know.
I think that's what surprises people, like how hard you have to work
100%.
to get it through. And you do
it gives you an appreciation for people that compete doing it. And like, they do gnarly stuff.
You're going to drive home going,
I know. It's even
Don't
now,
get any
like,
ideas.
There's so many different possibilities. Like just that coming out of there, where you said steer it that way and then steer it the other way as you brake, and you know, and how easily it spun the car across. Even that got me thinking, like, that is using the rear steer to push the front around. Yeah. Alright, so we just finished up driving the 4 courses here. What an absolute ball it is. It's unreal fun. Having the rear steer and the rear disconnect adds way more than you'd think to the driving. You got to use your brain way more than you'd think, just to navigate the car through tight obstacles, and how the rear disconnect and the rear steer reacts to the car and making it go through all these tight obstacles on real big angles. Yeah, it adds a whole nother level of driving, and it really makes you think. Even how big of an angle you can get the car on and how controlled it still is on the concrete wall, where you spin the front across with the rear disconnected, and you're on a pretty wild angle there. Takes a lot of brain power to make the car do that, surprisingly. And then in the tyre bunker here, where you lean it right over, and just fine tuning the car and the steering just to get it to lean over enough so the roll cage doesn't hit the tyre is actually quite difficult. But yeah, he's unreal fun. So if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I wouldn't advertise or do anything like this unless I'd stand behind it, and I 100% stand behind this. Like I said, I never knew it even existed, but this is something that you need to come and do. It's a different style of driving that you will not get anywhere else. Just having to navigate the car and how far it leans over and all those sorts of things, using the rear steer and the rear disconnect, it's awesome. And if you're from out of town, you can literally see the airport. Chris here has had people fly into the airport, catch a taxi out here. It'd be like 5 minutes from the airport, and then and do a bit of a drive and then fly back home. So even if you're out of town, super easy to get to and highly recommended. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you on the next one.